Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 426 for the week of November 5th, 2019. It's the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November.
Yeah, we're all sitting here in our V for Vendetta masks recording this podcast.
Yeah. We're all part of Anonymous? Yeah. Isn't that what they call themselves? Yeah. Are they still around? I'm sure they are. Hey, my name's Ryan Higgins. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Kevin.
And Charlie.
Kevin walking in like literally as we're about to hit record. We're super late starting
I came to
tonight.
get my Legion flight ring, Ryan.
I got it.
All right.
I got it.
Cannot
right
record without a ring on.
They've got 2 bags of them sitting right there. Yeah. What a friggin' week. So today we got in our Undiscovered Country #1. Whoa, nice one. Kevin has the Legion flight ring. I can't guarantee it works, but do you do. We got an Undiscovered Country #1 store exclusive variant cover.
Yep.
I processed that. Humongous week. Kevin, you're not going to be able to leave the store without looking at it. We got the Crisis on Infinite Earths box set. That thing is...
Well, I believe there's somebody sitting next to me who also
It's still sealed. As long as it's still sealed, I'm safe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is for a customer. I had ordered one for myself. I kind of to have it at the store as well to kind of like show people, but I figured, yes, I'm going to get this. Because I sold the softcover versions of those, the Crisis Multiple Earths trades years ago. So this thing... Yeah,
well,
nice.
Charlie and I are kind of like two fugitives in some old movie where we're like handcuffed together, and both of us is just waiting for the first one to jump off the cliff for this crisis box, and the other one's going to be dragged behind.
I don't understand with Charlie. If they were oversized, done. End of story. No brainer. Purchase. It's the fact that they're not. But the box set
I don't know if they are.
They're not.
Which is why
they're not.
Okay.
The box set is oversized, and there's just like filler on top with like a
That's
little
what
like kind of packaging holder thing. So
I just wasn't sure because on the Marvel box sets like this, they specifically call them premier hardcover.
Right.
So I know.
Right.
They're garbage.
Right. No, trust me. I went back and forth with DC a lot about this. I said like, look, if you guys are looking for orders, I understand it may bump up the price, but that's going to get more people to buy them because of the higher size. I said. Because people were like, "Oh, these are just going to Amazon where they can sell them super cheap. Like, who's going to sell these at a comic book store?" And I said, "Well, I think there's ways DC could work on this." I said, "How hard is it to send? What do you make? 1,000 of these? Like, could there even be that many out there? A couple thousand at most? Like, send George Perez and Marv Wolfman some little tip-in cards, little tip-in plates to sign." And give those to comic book stores for ordering them, right? So you get one for everyone and slip it in there. Like, how hard is that? And they were like, no. And I'm like, well, okay. Like, it costs you like $20 to print these things out and mail them off. It costs you nothing. And that would be
it's
huge...
George Perez to sign. That's what costs.
Well, they're getting royalties on these things anyway, so it's like that'd be a huge incentive for stores to order that. It's something Amazon wouldn't have. It's something Barnes & Noble wouldn't have. I easily could have sold a few at that price, or if that was included, but, whatever. Anyway, it's an awesome looking box set. If you see the Crisis on Infinite Earths box set at your local comic shop, it's $500, but it's
nice.
It's like 14 hardcovers, so yes, it's priced appropriately.
The 3 Crisis Companion hardcovers. Now I just need them to do the Crisis on Multiple Earths hardcovers to go with them.
Yeah.
And then I'll be safe.
Yep. Then you don't have to buy it. Yeah, because they did do all the crossovers in those big one. They have Crisis in the oversized.
Yeah.
So what you're telling us is your copy is still coming in that you're going to open.
Yeah, hopefully it's in here next week. I don't know why you didn't ship this week. I specifically ordered one to keep at the store to keep through, leading up to Christmas and everything.
Yeah.
And hopefully sell a couple extra copies.
So just so our listeners know, there was a slight scare when we received it because there was a forklift puncture in the box.
Yeah, but it's like, this thing is like in a box, in a box, in a box. This thing is like, yeah.
They actually packaged the box.
They packaged it really well. Yeah. Well, for a $500 item, you hope it's packaged pretty well. So.
I just remember when I ordered that Akira box set and I ended up having to have you.
Idiots.
For the customers for this Crisis box, this is why I'm kind of baffled that DC didn't put a little extra mustard on it. Like you were saying, that signed book plate or
how easy is that?
Larger hardcovers or something, because you're already up in that price point. This is not a casual shopper item.
No. This is for the heart of the hardcore.
And so I already have the Crisis absolute book.
Yeah.
And the trades of those multiple Earths. So for me to say, ooh, I really want to toss all that aside and invest in this, there would have to be something like extra special.
Yeah.
Either they're all that big size or there's something in that box that you can't get anywhere else.
Like Marvel with the X-Men one, right? Same thing. Dude, Chris Claremont's like sitting right there.
Right.
Just have him fucking sign some pieces of paper and throw them in, and boom, suddenly people are going to start grabbing that thing. It's such a no-brainer, and I don't get what they're thinking. It costs you nothing to do this, all right? Nothing. And you're talking about a $500
You
item.
probably wouldn't even have to, from the manufacturing perspective, you probably wouldn't even have to raise the retail price to put in a book plate.
No. You literally just throw it in the box.
Like $500 would cover that.
It increases the total amount you could sell
Easily.
Yeah.
Well, it's a cool box set anyway. If you see it, you should check it out.
I have the black and white poster of that Crisis that Alex Ross print.
Yeah.
With numbers to tell you every single one. Nice. That's cool.
Well, Charlie, if you don't jump off the cliff first, then I won't be dragged after you, and I won't jump first, and you won't be dragged.
Well, as I was telling Brock, what will inevitably happen is I will come across a deal that makes me pause. But if they're not oversized, then I'll probably still be safe.
Well, so I'm kicking myself now because I didn't even. I mean, I never assumed it was going to be on the sale, but of course, Criterion is having their big Barnes & Noble sale right after I pre-ordered the Godzilla box set on release day, right? So I bought it. I mean, I already have it. You get a good deal on the pre-order, but it's not as good as a deal as that Barnes & Noble sale. So, like...
You could return it.
It's not.
Well, it just depends how big the gap of the deal is.
Yeah, it is, but it's not... I mean, I don't know.
He'd have to return it. He'd have to have me box it up.
It's just
exactly. He has like, a goon here to do the boxing. Ryan doesn't have to do anything except click the return button.
I just have to buy it again and get it shipped and wait,
which is literally clicking a button.
But what if
tweet 2 less times?
I've already opened it and put it in my garage.
Okay, never mind. I thought you had just received it.
No. I got it I actually got it like the Friday before release. It showed up like 4 days early here. I don't know why, but
because they knew the sale was coming up and they just wanted to make sure it was already in your hands.
Well, no, everyone else I know they got them like Tuesday or Wednesday, like the week of release. I got it like Friday. It showed up. I was like, awesome. I mean, I haven't even looked at disc 1, but but it showed up super early. So
well, and thank you for listening to the Retail Conspiracy, everybody.
Yeah,
we'll see you next week.
I'm
waiting for their BBC sale. They always do a BBC sale towards the holidays.
Yeah. I need some Doctor Who stuff.
You're sitting with the guy that's like already snooping out the Black Friday deals.
Oh, well, yeah. We'll have our Black Friday conversations as we get closer. I already asked Charlie about the TV. I was like, all right, dude, 4K TV, let's talk. We got to talk about this. So, yeah. Charlie's the man to talk to about this stuff. We do have some comic book news. We'll get to that. Got a lot of questions from Patreon and everything today. So some good topics to talk about.
We missed something last week. What did we miss? I can't remember.
I haven't.
I said it after the podcast. You were like, "Shit."
Did we?
Yeah.
We did sales charts.
God, a 2-man sales chart. That was a great episode.
It's fine. What else? What else?
What would have been amazing?
Oh, Toby wanted to do New York Comic Con again.
You got to just let that
He'll
go.
show up at 9 o'clock and be like, are you guys still recording? I'm like, no.
What would have been amazing, the 2-man sales chart, is if you could have stretched the sales chart discussion for the entire runtime. Like it's literally that.
We were out of here by...
Oh, yeah, we were out of here. Like, Toby rolled in at like 8:15 and we're like, oh, we're done. He came in the last like 30 seconds of the podcast. It was great. Kevin,
Ryan.
Doomsday Clock's Brad Anderson.
The colorist, right?
Colorist.
Okay.
Correct.
Yes, go ahead.
Broke his hand and is not going to be able to finish inking
On
Doomsday
Twitter.
Clock.
I don't think that would really affect. I think they'd just get a scrub in there.
On Twitter, announced getting close to wrapping this bad boy up. Hard to believe. Can't wait for everyone to read Doomsday Clock 12.
I agree. I can't wait to read it either.
Yeah. So if Brad Anderson's almost done the coloring and we're November. I mean, this was even a couple days ago. This was November 2nd, and he's almost done, dude.
Okay, so we still need the lettering.
Move it early. Bring it early. You could do a week early. Do it December 11th. You know, come on.
I just love the fact that we're getting updates as it goes. Like Gary Frank,
yeah,
like a little while
it's
before
on the
that,
scanner.
Like, I just did the last page, and then the colors is like, I just almost. I don't know I've ever seen any other comic where like
I just did the end on
step
this
is getting
I like to think that my Twitter threads have necessitated this Doomsday Clock countdown.
They haven't. They've just been entertaining to watch.
That everyone has, that like pushing those news narratives, and CBR and Newsarama keeps updating. I like to think
there's like some Star Chamber underground. Like, get this fucking Higgins off our back. Whatever it takes to get this thing out. Sorry, we ever greenlit this goddamn series. Let's wrap it.
You do realize Tom King is going to draw most of the book, right?
That'd be incredible. So, yep, we're getting close. We're getting close. Doomsday Clock 12, right around the corner. December 2019.
I told him I'm waiting for his gift tweet at you.
Now, this is not something I think that's going to affect more.
Not
than
a troll comment.
No. I think this next story is not something that's going to affect more than 5 or 6 people, because the Inferior 5 comic that was launched as a 12-issue miniseries has been reduced to 6 issues.
Okay, now
you're in.
I'm not patting myself on the back here, but after I read number 1, I came in here the next week and I said,
that's why I brought this
up. Here's the quote that I said to Ryan. 12 issues is exactly the wrong length for this series. It should have been half that.
Yeah.
I don't even believe it was greenlit at 12. It's madness.
They all said 12.
I know that, but I'm just wondering who they thought.
Who would buy that many?
Yeah.
I don't know. Now,
wait. So there's going to be 1 to 12, and then it's going to automatically be 1.
The issue 3 that's out this week says 3 of 6.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So.
And then they'll launch Inferior 5-2. That'll be another 6 issues.
Normally, I wouldn't even talk about this.
We're waiting for the next part of Prez.
But, there's one. But I bring this up for a few different reasons. First of all, there was an Inferior 5 comic book. I don't think anyone knows this. Second of all, there was a 12-issue Inferior 5 comic book, right?
There was allegedly supposed to be.
No, I got it, because I was like, Inferior 5, and the entire book is a crossover what is it? Invasion crossover.
Right.
The 80s DC Comics Invasion.
Yeah, that's
drawn by Keith Giffen in that style from the Legion of the late 80s.
Yeah, with his weird short.
Yeah, with the square heads.
Yeah, and the super odd people that
And personally, I love that style.
It's so weird.
Yeah, I know. But
written by Jeff Lemire, right? Yeah. So this is not like some Z-list team.
With Peacemaker as the backup.
Those Peacemaker backups, by far, are the best part of the book. Because I don't have a goddamn clue what's going on in the front half of the book.
Nobody does.
It's the weirdest fucking story. There are the Inferior 5, like the original Inferior 5 stuff. They're like, who is that? Like Dumb Bunny and what was her name?
Yeah.
It's a bunch of joke.
They're from
characters.
Showcase.
Yeah. It's all these joke characters, right?
Now I gotta look up the name.
Was Ambush Bug in the later Inferior 5 and Animal Man? They came into Animal Man during Morrison's run.
Yeah,
right?
they were in that graveyard of forgotten heroes.
Yeah. So the fact, I mean. Dan Didio clearly was like, this is my other pet project. I'm doing my 12-issue Metal Men series. My other pet project is this Inferior 5 comic book. What the fuck? Why does this book fucking exist? But that backup, that Jeff Lemire backup that he's writing and drawing, that Peacemaker backup, and it's directly coming out of 80s Suicide Squad. It's really good.
Yes.
I want that comic to be the main comic. Fuck the front. I don't even understand what's happening in this book.
Here's the question, though. Who is the audience for this book?
No, but us.
The people sitting at this table are the audience for this book.
Two of the people at this table.
Yes.
I'd read the Peacekeeper, Jeff Lemire.
Yeah, no.
But I'm not going to buy an Inferior 5 book to
But
read.
a 12-issue miniseries.
Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah, it's odd.
I'll just wait for the Jeff Lemire. I'll just wait for the graphic novel for the Peacekeeper thing.
Oh, Peacemaker. And it's only going to be half the story, right? Maybe they'll do a one-shot to finish it up or something, right? But But yeah, like,
doesn't it seem like it should have been either a standalone graphic novel or a 3-issue double size? Something like that.
3-issue double size, like Invasion was.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It should have been some random, special. Yeah, it's so odd that this thing even exists.
So here's the Inferior 5 lineup, the original, from showcase number 62. Merry Man. The powers are high intellect and weakling's body. Awkward Man. Flawless in water, clumsy on land. The Blimp could fly only when propelled by a tailwind. White Feather, skilled archer, but scared of people looking at him. And Dumb Bunny, super strength, terrible grades.
Yep.
None of those characters are in this new book.
No. So the book is about these kids that are living in a small town after the invasion, and the town's like fucking decimated. And there are these
Is this Curse of Brimstone?
There are these people in the town that have these like burlap sacks over their head with giant X's on them, and they randomly there's 5 kids in this town permanently, and they keep taking the 5th kid, and a new 5th kid shows up, and I'm like, what? What? It has nothing to do with, like, there's no superheroes in it. It's just this weird. I don't know what in God's name is going on in this comic.
So back to Peacemaker.
Yeah, but the Peacemaker backup's great.
So those are just like 4 pagers at the backside of the issue.
Yeah, but it's really
I
good.
I just want the oversized whole thing collected. I'll read it.
I have no clue what in the God's name is going on with this comic.
Well, considering they're putting out an Absolute that's basically omnibus size, now I'm picturing Absolute that's the thinnest Absolute you could.
Yeah. So
Absolute Peacemaker.
if you want to read just a really weird as hell book, go find. I mean, I'm sure your store does not have this book on the shelf because I guarantee you their orders for number 1 were abysmal. I'm sure 2. Actually, what? I should look at the sales charts. Because we would have number 1 on here. We wouldn't have 2 yet because 2 just came out. So, but yeah, I'm sure sales were just fucking abysmal on this. Like, who the hell even ordered this? I'm actually surprised. We actually sold out, and I ordered more. Like, I have customers for this book.
Yes. This is such a niche product. You have customers for this book.
Like, this type of store. My people want this book.
Yes.
But that's still only like 20 copies. Most stores, I'm sure, ordered 0 to 2, right? Yeah, so Inferior 5 number 1 sold just shy of 20,000 copies for number 113 on the sales charts. I'm sure number 2 was like half that, right?
Yeah. So when they say it's a 12-issue, I read number 1, you read number 1.
Yeah. And I was
and it's just like, okay, it's $4 times 12 issues. If this just came out as a book and it was cover price $48, I'd be like, hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah. It's very strange. Very, very strange. Yeah. This is such a weird book, and I've been wanting to talk about it, and this is the perfect excuse to actually talk about this Inferior 5 book, because
Because there's actually somebody else here that's read it.
Yeah. DC's put out some oddball stuff, but this takes the cake for recent oddball DC releases. I don't know who the audience for this was.
The last oddball that I liked was that.
Well,
it was the one out of Amethyst, the Beowulf character.
Yeah. I mean, they've.
It was weird, but it was
that
good.
New 52. I mean, weird DC is my favorite DC, right? They do such. Sometimes
we last week we had the first Joe Hill one with basketball heads.
Yeah.
That one was really good.
Yeah,
and then
but that's not weird DC.
No,
but I think like Young Heroes in Love. That's weird DC, right? Like I think of this, I think a major bummer. I'm like, who the hell greenlit this book, right?
See, when I hear some of these things, I just immediately think it belongs in like the Tick universe or something like that. Where
was that?
The joke is to come up with the weirdest.
What's the team from Hitman?
Crap.
I think there's a character that does deal with poop.
Yes. What is the? What's it called? Section 8. Section 8? No. Oh. What's it called? Section 6? I can't. You know what I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's a team from Hitman. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. We'll figure it out. I'll find it.
Who greenlit Bouncing Boy?
Legion?
I mean, the greatest Legion ever.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm just saying it so he didn't have to.
The new leader of the Legion of Superheroes is voted by Ryan Higgins on Brian Michael Bendis' official poll. Hell yeah. We got a little movie and TV news here. We're gonna have a lot. Okay. Before we get into this, I am actively avoiding Crisis spoiler stuff for the CW at this point. So we are not going to talk about anything in the lead.
Have you blocked crossover yet?
I have. I blocked all the Legion or all the.
Well, you did
Crisis.
Did you block the word crossover?
No, I'm not going to block the word crossover. But I blocked enough of it, so I will still see some of it. But just I do want to let people know that I'm off.
When is the official start of that? I know there's been some rough tie-ins.
December?
Yeah, it's December. It's
the date. That December 10th is when is the date that the Flash disappears.
Let's see.
Dies or whatever.
Begin Supergirl on December 8th, Batwoman on December 9th, Flash on December 10th, and then Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow will be, I'm assuming, back to back on January 14th for the 2-part finale. So. That's going to be a long.
So Black Lightning's not crossing over, but Black Lightning is.
He's in it. Yeah, and they've talked about that. So yeah, I'm on pretty hard spoiler blackout at this point. So people listening to the podcast, we're just to let you know in case some other stuff does come up. I'm going to try my best to actively avoid this stuff.
He won't see the questions or any of the things.
8th, 9th, and 10th is a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
No, I think it's your call, but I would say bottle it and have the whole discussion on the next week,
the 17th. Do the whole talk
of the first 3 parts. As one.
Yeah, because I won't be able to watch. I won't be able to watch.
Yeah, that's probably the best. Okay, but yeah, I just want to let people know that because I know some other stuff is starting to pop up.
Supergirl, I need to put on my DVR.
Some other stuff is starting
for the
to pop
one
up.
episode.
But very big news. Comic book movie stuff. We have two that I'm pretty excited for. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's been greenlit with an official sequel. April 8th, 2022. Producer Christopher Miller tweeted this out the other day. So that seems like a long time, but I mean, it is animation. That does take animation. Usually takes quite some, a little bit longer sometimes than some of these other movies.
I just always find it funny when we get the official green light announcement after they already announced we're developing number 2 and a bunch of spin-offs and everything else right after the movie came out.
Right. Well, they probably were like, yes, this is doing well. We are going to do this. We just have to actually get the the dates set up and figure out how can we get this done? Can we get it done in time? 2022 feels like a long time. I'm actually surprised it's not 2021.
I mean, from now until 2022, isn't that less time than it took Doomsday Clock to come out?
But that is I really wonder if this one's going to do better domestically than the first one because it did okay. Like it didn't do gangbusters, but it did do well. So I wonder if how this one is going to do comparatively to the first one.
I thought it did really well domestically, the first one.
I think it did, but it didn't. I don't think it had blowout numbers.
But it's an Academy Award winner.
Yes, this is true.
Let me look here because I'm actually on.
Speaking of sequels, do we think Joker's going to get a sequel?
Well, I'm on Box Office Mojo specifically because of this, because Joker's the next thing we're going to talk about. Yeah, domestic was 190, international 185, 375 worldwide. I mean, comparatively to a lot of superhero stuff and Disney stuff.
I think Blu-ray sales, though.
Oh, I'm sure. But yeah, that's really not. I mean, it's good, right? It didn't bomb.
I really thought it was more.
But yeah, no, I don't. I remember it didn't really blow up. Because but it is. I mean, that is not a bad number. But I'm sure they maybe thought, hey, we have the MCU stuff. We have the Spider-Man movies, a $1 billion franchise now. But animation, I think, is gonna, if you're not Frozen 2, I think animation's gonna have a bit of a tough time.
Well, when did Frozen 1 come out?
Frozen 2's been in development for fucking years.
Yeah.
Frozen 1 was like 2013, 2014. When was Frozen 1? It's a long ass time ago. Frozen 2's really soon. Oh my god, that is gonna. Frozen was 2013. Yeah, forget Star Wars, dude. Frozen 2 is going to dominate the box office this winter. It's going to be crazy.
I don't know. I'm curious to see how it does, just because I think a lot of the obsession the first one caused.
Yeah,
those kids have had enough time to outgrow.
Well.
But to see like a lot of the teens that enjoyed it at the time are now adults that are like, ooh.
We'll see.
Some may have had kids.
I definitely feel like if it had come out 2 years ago or even a year ago, it probably would have done even better compared to whatever it ended up doing.
It's Disney.
I still think it's going to do
great.
I still think it's going to do very, very well. Speaking of movies doing...
As we're just sitting here, I'm thinking as you guys are doing the numbers, Into the Spider-Verse, although I would put that still in my top 5 superhero movies of any era.
Yeah.
I'm not super stoked for a sequel. And I'm thinking of it just in terms of Lord and Miller projects, because although they didn't direct this, they shepherded it. Lego Movie, the first one.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
Second one, just nobody cared about.
I didn't see the second one.
Yeah, I didn't see
21 Jump Street. I loved it.
Yeah.
Never saw 22 Jump Street. There is they capture this magic the first time out.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, because normally you'd probably think, oh, I love the first one. I can't wait for the sequel.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I have not seen the sequel. This is just a weird case of you're saying there's a sequel coming to my number one movie was that last year? God, it feels like 10 years ago, Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it was last year. Year.
Yeah, he's back there.
And yet I'm strangely unexcited about the news.
Well, are you excited about...
I was just going to say that in terms of excitement level for another Spider-Verse, I don't think it necessarily left you with this is where they're going to go next. So it's just a big question mark if they're going to go bigger into...
more Gwen.
There was a huge post-credit scene.
Well, yes, with Spider-Man 2099, which was my favorite post-credit scene ever, pretty much. But I don't necessarily... Obviously, if they're keeping it in Spider-Verse, it's going to be a lot of multiple Spider-Men, but we don't really have a sense of the scope yet.
No.
Meaning, if they go crazy and the first trailer hits and there's 30 Spider-Men in there or something...
I mean, it'll be... I mean, I'll tell you what the movie is right now. It's Miles, it's Gwen, it's Dad Spider-Man, it's Peter Porker, and they go into 2099. That's just what it's going to be. Right?
I wouldn't be surprised if they double down even more to just fit in as many versions of Spider-Man as possible.
And I'm sure they'll grab a bunch of randoms just to kind of be in the background, but yeah.
Just to die off camera.
Well, movies that are, let's just say, shattering all records and expectations. Joker continues its complete domination. We are now at 938 million worldwide. It will not open in China has been the most recent reports. It seems almost impossible that China's going to allow it to open there. So we're and estimates put it
with what's going on with Hong Kong. I wouldn't think they would have released it.
Estimates put it as probably not this weekend, but if it still keeps doing what it's doing internationally, by next weekend it's going to break $1 billion. I mean,
we all lose.
We will eat our hat because even. I loved it, and I was like, "Oh, there's no way in hell this breaks $1 billion. It'll hit 500 million probably, but that's furthest out expectation."
It's the top grossing R-rated film.
But I mean, now by a huge portion.
So of course,
dude, 300 million domestic alone.
Of course, Ryan Reynolds did that great poster where he put the.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was great.
Funny. That was funny. Yeah. So here's a story. So I was in Hollywood. On Sunday, I went to a concert. I flew down to LA for a concert. And I was taking an Uber from my hotel to the concert venue. And the Uber driver, he was like, "Oh, what do you do?" Blah blah. I was like, "Oh, I'm at a comic book store." She's like, "Oh, that's cool, neat." And she was like, "Have you seen this Joker movie?" I was like, "Yeah, of course, yeah. I always go see these movies." She's like, "Yeah, that was really dark." I'm like, "Yeah, it was." I was like, "Oh, I'm talking about the movie for a few minutes," and I was like, "Yeah, they show, it's cool that Batman's in it but not in it, right? And all this flashback." She's like, "Oh, what? Batman's in it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, the little kid. That's Batman." What? Like, so just a regular civilian, right? No idea that Thomas Wayne is Bruce Wayne's father. No idea that the kid is Batman. No idea that when they get shot in the alleyway, that's the origin of Batman, right? But this movie clearly...
How old was your Uber driver?
It's like, she was probably 50, maybe. So, yeah, I mean, this is just... people don't know this. We know this shit, but those people don't know this shit, right?
Those people.
But
I love how you just explained why they feel the need to do the origin in every movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you just answered your own question.
But yeah, the average person on the street doesn't see this. But, perfect example of someone that just through word of mouth went and saw this movie. Someone who's not into comic book stuff, not into superhero stuff. Didn't sound like they had seen any other, like the Marvel movies or anything like that. But went and saw this. So absolutely crazy. But yeah, 300 domestic as of today, 938 total. Good Christ. So
if I had had a choice of bets, like
that or Doomsday Clock,
I would have bet Doomsday Clock finished in 2019 before I bet Joker made $1 billion.
You almost wonder at Warner Brothers where they're like, I mean, there's no reason we're not going to make a sequel, blah, blah, blah. Now they're like, I mean, we can't not at this point, right? And they have to be thinking, well, what are we going to do now? Like, we can't just let this sit. They should. I love that because I don't need anything else. But, everyone was like, don't worry about the future. Don't worry about sequels. Don't worry about more. Just make the one movie. Now they're like, oh, fuck, we're going to have to make a sequel, aren't we? Like, we have to make a sequel. So, we'll see what happens.
So we're going to get one in the 80s?
That'd be cool. Well, this took place in, what, 80?
81.
Oh, I mean 90s. So
yeah.
90s?
Yeah.
So we're going to get a grunge Joker?
I would think not. I could see them doing, like, the next day. Literally just pick up the next day, right? And not advance the plot, not worry about Batman, not worry about the DC universe, but just be like, what happens in the city now that the fucking Joker's around, right?
Yeah.
They could do, like, young James Gordon. They could. There's ways they could go about it that doesn't make it a Batman movie, right?
Yeah.
I think there's things that they could do, but have it still be its own kind of thing. Yeah. But I wouldn't want it to go too superhero-y. I'd want it... Clearly, they'll keep it rated R because obviously it worked. But I don't want them to do it just to do it. Like, have a story, have a pitch, rip off another movie again, and just which is fine, right? Scorsese will love it. Final little comic thing I want to talk about. Peyton Reed, Ant-Man director of Ant-Man and Wasp.
I thought you were going to segue from there into the Batman casting.
Oh, that was what we skipped a few weeks ago. We skipped it because we did the Joker episode, and then we didn't talk about it last week. So
now you've got some new developments.
We do. What's new? Well, hold on. Let me do this first.
Okay, do Peyton Reed.
Peyton Reed, Ant-Man director, Ant-Man and Wasp director. Number 3, baby. It's happening. Yes. Thank God. Love Ant-Man. Love Ant-Man and Wasp. Love Paul Rudd. Really, really excited to see what they do for a third movie. Easily one of my favorite MCU movies.
Any of you watched Living with Myself?
No, I heard it's good, though.
Not yet.
I heard it's good.
It's interesting. I enjoyed it. It's real short. They're only like half-hour episodes. And there's only 8.
Yeah. I do really, really like... those two Ant-Man movies, so I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with another one.
Post Endgame.
So, Batman, Robert Pattinson Batman, Zoe Kravitz is Selena Kyle, so we're going to talk about this. It's cool. I don't really know her for much, but it's very weird. I saw like 100 pictures of her the week they announced that she's going to be Catwoman, and she looks different in every picture. Did you notice this? No, every picture.
You know she's quite young.
Yeah, every picture. Like, she looks like a completely different person. It's really odd. Hold on, Batman.
So you mentioned Jeffrey Wright.
So Jeffrey Wright is Commissioner Gordon.
Paul
right?
Dano.
I like him quite a bit. So I don't know Paul Dano. I mean, I recognize him, but I don't know him. So he's going to be...
He's a good choice.
He's going to be...
That's good casting.
Riddler of some fashion.
Yep.
But I'm worried because they're getting into the...
Well, now you've got more today.
The weeds here.
Today, as of us recording this today.
Is this Matthew McConaughey thing real?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about...
Is that real?
I'm talking about Colin Farrell and Andy Serkis.
Right. I'm going down the list.
Oh, okay.
Matthew McConaughey as Two-Face. Is that real?
That's
the rumor?
real rumor.
Yeah.
The rumor is as Harvey Dent. Whether or not they would progress him to Two-Face is unknown.
Okay.
Now, could you see him as Two-Face?
No. But sure, why not? I guess. But Colin Farrell, okay, as Oswald Cobblepot, again, okay.
Yep.
And Andy Serkis as Alfred, okay. Sure. Alfred's kind of a whatever. There's so many interpretations of Alfred. I don't really have like I have like the Batman animated series, the guy that played him in the Burton Batman movies.
Yeah.
Well, like that, the
Michael
animated...
Huh?
Michael Gough.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a bad version of Alfred.
Even in they've had younger Alfred, and obviously in Gotham, he's a much more
He has
gas
his
Alfred.
own show.
And in Pennyworth, very different take on him, which I borrowed from the internet, but I haven't actually watched them yet. But I heard they were okay. They grabbed the second season, so hope that works.
Nice.
But Andy Serkis as Alfred's a weird choice, but sure. I mean, why not? Okay.
See, there was the rumor originally, or there was a script. I don't know if it was for this movie, but there was a script that was basically Arkham Asylum minus the Morrisonisms.
Okay.
More like an action movie.
Okay.
I don't think this is that anymore.
Well, if it's Catwoman, Two-Face, Riddler, and Penguin, that's...
Yeah, it's starting to feel, and this is just from the outside, nobody knows anything about, is a little overstuffed.
Very, very.
Like, it's starting to resemble the 66 Batman movie, where they've got all those villains in the Penguin submarine.
Well, and that's why I said the distinction of the Harvey Dent, because like even the 89 Batman movie had a Harvey Dent that was not
right.
Two-Face in the movie.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with them bringing in supporting members like Harvey Dent who can play a different role in the movie than Two-Face.
Yeah, if this is DA Harvey Dent with Iceberg Lounge owner Oswald Cobblepot, right, and cat burglar Selena Kyle, and that's that, right? I don't care if they're in the movie, but I don't need 7 costume villains to all show up at one time. Now, you do Arkham Asylum, that's a little different. That's a totally different story because the whole idea is that they're all trapped in there, and Batman's trapped in there with them. And clearly, I mean, you can't do Arkham Asylum without Joker. There's just no way.
Or Harley.
Well, no, original Arkham Asylum.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I don't need 20. This is an end game, right? I don't need that yet. I would love it eventually, but I don't need that to be a starting point for whatever this is going to be. But yeah, sure. My response is always they're people, they're actors. I have no clue. You occasionally get a Robert Downey Jr. where you're like, holy shit, that is fucking perfect. And everyone else is like, yeah, okay, whatever, sure, they're actors. We'll figure it out.
Don't forget Matt Ryan.
Yeah, no, and sure, he's great. You look at him and you're like, yeah, you look like
I'll call it
Constantine.
now,
That's
though. I'll call it now. Where I think we're a year and change out from this. I think this comes out in 2021.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it now. I will do the Mr. Mind stand up and clap if the Riddler is in the question mark leotard. I want that Riddler. Even if it's one scene, I will do the clap.
Did you do that when you went and saw Batman and Robin? He's in that. Jim Carrey?
No. because that had beaten me into submission long before
Batman Forever.
Yeah,
Or Batman
I was like,
Forever,
no,
sorry.
no,
Batman Forever.
Batman and
Yeah.
Robin's the one that
Yeah.
was.
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't do that because
Imagine
different world. Then.
Imagine what they could do with Victor Freeze now.
Oh God, a real serious Mr. Freeze movie would be incredible. Yeah, sure.
So you
Batman.
could take that Joker money and put it into making a solo Mr. Freeze movie.
That'd be cool.
That I would. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no real.
Why are all the Bat Rogues getting filmed?
I mean, they've done so much stuff with Batman that they've done near every major character.
Hey, we still need a fucking Kite Man.
Hell yeah. I think probably the one big Batman story. Well, let me rephrase that. No Batman story has ever been adapted. Right? They're all just the characters and takes on them, but they've never actually adapted a real Batman story.
Live action, we haven't gotten a Hush.
Well, no, we haven't gotten anything really. We've gotten the characters, but none of those stories. I could see a really cool Nightfall like two-parter, but I don't see a lot of Batman stories being like adapted directly because they're so. People have such an idea of what these characters are already. I don't think even Civil War and Infinity Gauntlet. I mean, they're loosely adapted. I really don't feel. Maybe Batman Begins in year one is as close as they got. There's a couple scenes in there that were taken from year one, but really, the Batman movies have all very much been their own thing. None of them have really stuck to any of the source material. Where clearly a number of the Marvel movies have, at least to a degree. But I think they could do a killer Nightfall. I think that's one of the rare. I think Azrael's one of the rare characters. Azrael is one of the rare characters that's big that they haven't really touched on. That aspect of Azrael I think could be cool because we've had Bane, we've had Catwoman, we obviously had Joker, Penguin.
Yeah, but they wouldn't
Two-Face,
go
blah, 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 blah.
anywhere near that right now after Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah,
They can't do it back to back like that.
good. Maybe one day. That's it for our little news. We have a bunch of questions here. Let's get to some of these guys. First, we have some questions on Patreon. That's patreon.com/comicconspiracy. If you guys want to leave some questions on there, if you're part of the Patreon, we'll get to those. We got a couple on Twitter we'll try to get to.
And an email.
Chris Lockhart says, what's your most hated comic book retcon, and how did it make things worse? You have a hated comic book retcon.
I feel like I've already talked Sins Past.
Most retcons that are that bad tend to go away, right?
Yes,
The worst
yes,
parts
they
of
do.
New 52, I feel like Sins Past and Spider-Man was pretty much abandoned immediately after it happened. They just never, ever discuss that again. I don't know that I got one that...
Mullet Superman?
Well, it's not a retcon.
Mullet Superman was great.
Yeah, he just came back from the dead. They didn't retcon him to always have a mullet. We'll see where this X-Men stuff goes in the next couple of years.
All right.
That's not a comment. I've liked it, but a year from now, people may be like, okay, so the X-Men are coming back when?
I think I already talked about my most hated a handful of episodes ago with Identity Crisis.
Oh, okay.
The part in the past I'm talking about.
Sure.
That would be my nominee, but I like Charlie's nominee as well. I mean, I dislike Charlie's nominee. I like the choice for this question.
Yeah. I have two retconned back, and it seems like every couple decades it switches around. And I have a very strong feeling on both of these. And right now we're in the version that I don't care for. Batman should never know who killed his parents. It should be a nameless criminal. I don't like Joe Chill. And not knowing is the retcon. So for me, I don't like the retcon back. They retconned him to not know, and then they retconned it back that he does know about Joe Chill. And the retcon of the Kents being dead. I like them alive.
So
I like
Kent's alive, and
the
Wayne Killer is anonymous.
Those are right, and they were retcons, and now they've retconned those away again back to the original.
So I've over the years in reading more of this character and getting into their gallery of villains. I like it when the rogues are dealing with their tech. I don't like when the rogues get superpowers.
Yeah, they've now done that twice.
They're back to having superish powers.
They did the superpower. They did that superpower thing with the Flash Rogues back in Forever Evil, and that went away. And then
with Luthor,
it's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind it for a story arc, but yeah, of course, I want them to go back.
Oh, I'll throw in one more that Ryan will disagree with.
What's that?
The S meaning hope.
Oh. But that's, I mean, is that just a movie thing? Like
Is it in the comics? Isn't that from Birthright?
Is it?
I thought that was from Birthright.
I don't. It's nothing they've ever talked about in the ongoing continuity comics. No. I mean, it may be from Birthright. I read Birthright, but I don't remember that.
Okay, I just don't know how an S represents L.
EL.
The S is for Superman. There, the end. I've retconned it back to the original.
But that's the sigil for House L.
Yeah, LL. Yes. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Craig Anderson. Let's talk Titans, he says. I both love the show and I'm incredibly frustrated by it. My sense is whole stuff happens every episode, but nothing really moves forward. Does Titans have the same problems as Marvel Netflix shows where they have a story to tell in 13 episodes and only need 6? I will disagree so far, because I feel like a number of the episodes have been these sort of one-shots about the characters. The Netflix Marvel shows, it had a couple of those, but not many. Titans at least has a big cast. So you can have a whole Superboy episode. You can have a whole Dick episode. You can have a whole episode about Raven. And they've done enough of those. So I just haven't seen the most recent episode. So I don't know if
I haven't seen any
total
from the new season.
Total drag.
I'm one behind.
Yeah. But so far I've enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed season 2 far more than season 1.
Yeah.
I just finished the episode entitled Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah. That was a funny episode.
I don't remember how many have come out since then.
I think 2.
Two since that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a very funny episode.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Craig hearing this answer to his question.
Yes, I love that. I'm like, yes, the episode entitled Bruce Wayne was really funny and great.
Yeah.
I believe Craig is somewhere on the road when he'll hear the answer to this. He's driving cross country.
Right? Yeah. But no, I mean, yeah. Like, so I've been watching The Boys. I'm like, I've watched the first 3 episodes.
And how do you like it?
Well, that's a show with no fucking filler. They just go. Yeah. 13 episodes, 22 episodes. Clearly there's going to be some filler. Yeah. But, whatever.
But you're liking The Boys?
Oh, yeah, it's good. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
It was so good.
Christopher says, this question may be more of a Geekbox question, but I'll ask it anyway. Are you guys fans of the TV show The Expanse? Went for Toby? No.
So...
Go ahead.
I'm currently reading the series, so I'm about 30% through book 2. But I really enjoyed the first one. Like Did
you watch the show too, or
no? I haven't watched the show, but I want to see the show now.
Yeah.
So I watched the first season. I really liked the first season, and then kind of ran out of time when the second season came out. So it's sitting on my Amazon when I have time to watch this list.
Yeah, because it got picked up by Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm 3 seasons behind or something.
But there's 8 books in the series now or something. But I mean, the books are great. I really enjoyed them.
And I will say this, especially with the special effects of the first season, I was really impressed, especially given the fact that it was on Sci-Fi, how well they handled a lot of the... I remember being amazed just watching the weightlessness of hair in the show.
Do rib cages crawl around and arms?
It's been a little too long for me to answer that. Because I literally watched it when the first season was new and then fell behind. So I was like...
He also says, are you guys aware that if you have a Verizon unlimited data plan, you'll get Disney Plus for a year for free? I've heard some conflicting reports. From what can I tell, this seems legit. I don't have Verizon, but yeah, I did hear that. So it seems to be real.
All the cellular carriers have kind of staked their claim on streaming services. It's kind of interesting, kind of weird. Like Sprint has Hulu and...
Does AT&T have anything? Because I have an unlimited plan and I haven't got shit from them.
AT&T gets shit. They're horrible.
I don't remember. I know somebody has Netflix. I know somebody even has Prime.
T-Mobile has Netflix.
Yeah. But yeah, it's weird. They're all kind of playing the, I get this streaming service. Well, I get this streaming service.
Uh-oh. Here he comes.
AT&T has its own DirecTV, which they took over.
Yeah.
And when you watch it on your phone, it doesn't count against your data.
We have unlimited data, so who cares?
Well, that's you, motherfucker. And not everybody's rich and pays for everything.
I have like an unlimited data plan from like 18 years ago or something like that, or 16 years ago.
Remember the whole
forever.
I sign up and forget about it?
Yeah.
That guy.
No, I'm just too busy going. At some point, we're going to have to make Ryan just write a list of all the stuff he's subscribed to.
I don't even think he'd be able to do it. You'd have to just check your bank statements and see what
It's
withdrawal.
not that much. No, my cell phone, my cell phone bill's not that much.
No, we're not talking about money.
We're talking about
like number of services that you have as
services you
standing
subscribe to.
subscription.
It's not that many.
So it's Warcraft,
WoW, Netflix, DC Universe. But I do the year on that. And I do the 6 month on Netflix.
Star Trek Online. You did the Lifetime,
But yeah,
But that's
I
done.
don't have that anymore. I don't subscribe to any of the video game stuff.
Prime.
I do Prime, but I do through work.
Yeah.
Nintendo Online, PlayStation Plus.
Hulu.
No, I Spotify. I go through Spotify.
And you're doing Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, but I bought the 3-year thing. Like half of these, I bought like some weird account for it. So, I mean, I'll definitely get HBO Max for that Green Lantern show.
So we're at 8.
Do you have CBS?
No.
Are you going to get for Picard?
No.
If you're in for Picard, you're in for life. Just keep that in mind.
Did they do a deal on that? Did they do
No.
like a year deal or something?
So only
I
8?
have no clue.
No, there's got to be more.
Yeah, I don't.
There's got to be
it's
stuff for
not,
free. Oh, DC.
Who said that?
Yeah,
No,
it's DC. A Humble Bundle, Humble Monthly.
Baseball.
MLB TV.
Okay. We're at 10,
10?
11.
Well, no, because the DC one. Are you talking DC Online, the game, or
No,
DC?
no.
Okay, so we're at 10.
We're not counting
so we're at 10.
lifetime subscriptions.
Okay,
Lifetimes
okay.
are one-time payments. You're done.
Okay. So we're at 10.
Everything else is reoccurring.
How many others?
And that's not talking about like his cable package that comes with a bunch of other.
Do we count the
station.
garbage bags that you get from Amazon?
I'm subscribed to Garbage Bags.
I'm assuming that's for the store.
Yes. Well, I also use it at my house too. But yeah, I have a subscription to Garbage Bags. I don't know why.
Let's not count that.
I don't know why I set that up. I was like, I can subscribe to Garbage Bags, and I did. So like every couple months, a box of Garbage Bags shows up. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. My Garbage Bag subscription. I forgot. Yeah. Comic Hub. Does that count? The work stuff doesn't count. Steven asks, what's your thoughts on the Hellblazer one-shot that just came out for Sandman Universe? Brock, you had some thoughts. I haven't read it yet. You returned it, didn't you? You didn't like it.
Fucking garbage. I couldn't like it. It really felt like
Superior, man. It's your boy.
No, it's Simon. It's Simon now. It's Simon on the cover.
Superior.
Yeah. It was like there were elements of the character there, but it was just kind of that general, hey, Hellblazer, it does this stuff. It didn't really seem like he had a complete grasp of the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't that great of a story anyway, so it was pretty bad.
Cool. I'm looking forward to it.
But let's just put it this way. I returned it and got a basket full of heads.
I heard that was really good.
It was. That one was really good. And The Last God was good, too.
Yeah. Both of those. I read Last God #1. Basket Full of Heads, I'm probably just going to grab the trade when it comes out and read them all.
That one I will say...
It's short. It's like 5 issues, I think, right?
The first issue is just really grabs you and is done really well.
Yeah. Tyler Willett says, I just finished the first volume of Fantastic Four by John Byrne Omnibus, which is so good. One of my favorite parts is when Annihilus pretends to be the Baxter Building's receptionist and answers the phone to make it look like the Fantastic Four are okay. Do you remember this?
I don't remember that specific. I remember Annihilus being in there, and I remember there's a great issue that's horizontal, where they're in the negative zone and you turn the book sideways.
Yeah.
But I do not remember the receptionist. I remember that the FF.
Oh, that yellow cover! I hate that book.
What? You're crazy!
It's like so bad when you're doing back issues. You're
please.
What is this one?
There is a FF receptionist story in that Byrne run, and I think it's in the first omnibus, where it's the robot receptionist who takes out the trapster or Pastepot Pete, whatever his name was at that time. It's a little 3-page story, but I do not remember the Annihilus.
So it's one of the most comic booky things that really embraces how weird comics can get in that series. What are your favorite moments where it just embraces how weird comic books can be? My answer for this is always Animal Man. My answer for this is always Grant Morrison's Animal Man returns to the reader and he says, "I can see you," as one of my favorite pages of all time.
I'll go with the Coyote Gospel.
On that note. Both of those issues are just mind blowing. There's easily some of my favorite stuff. I love the they've done 3D in comics before, but the Morrison issues of Final Crisis, the Superman ones that are it pops back and forth in 3D depending on what dimension he's in. I don't want a 3D comic constantly, right? But these cool little things, I like that.
What was it? That Snyder Capullo issue of Batman where you were reading it and you had to
turn it around. Yeah. There was an issue of the final issue of Promethea was a poster. It was a fold-out poster that folded out to this big thing. Yeah. These are things you really.
But I think he's talking more of in the comics, characters
content.
in the.
But these are cool. But these are all sort of some of these are still contextual within the comic. They are the story is that like the Superman one. It is he's going back and forth between these dimensions, so you have this sort of different way of viewing it. But yeah, I understand what he's talking about.
I'll add on since he's talking about that omnibus. I'll add on Byrne's She-Hulk run.
Tyler's the She-Hulk.
The weird.
That's his girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they
need to make another statue.
That's like Deadpool before Deadpool. Yeah. The weird fourth wall breaking
and the villains that he pulls out.
Yeah.
Like the 70s obscure forgotten Marvel villains.
I like the Slot She-Hulk a lot, actually, because of the way it would break certain things with, checking old comic books as legal reference. And
yeah. I like that. I don't know who this person what their name originally was, but their new name is, I wish I was Bryce Larson. That's what they said their name is. Well, you should, fingers crossed, listen to next week's episode if you want to.
Are we DMing Bryce Larson quotes to let them know? Or are we just gonna? Are you just gonna tease it?
They'll figure it out.
That person may be sitting at this table.
Oh, what? Says I love your variant. I love your variant for Undiscovered Country. What are the requirements for a store to be considered eligible to sell an exclusive variant, and how is it determined which artist cover gets assigned to which store? Is it based only on order size or other factors? So a little info on how this happens. Marvel, DC, Image, and most independent companies will offer stores the ability to get their own store-exclusive variant cover. So we've done a few, right? So we did a Harley Quinn one.
Walking Dead.
We did the Walking Dead 15th anniversary, which a number of stores did that one.
We did the DC Universe Year of the Villain.
That's a little different because that's just those just have our logo on it and stuff. And then kind of like the Walking Dead one.
What was the other one? The DC Nation Zero?
Yeah. Those are a little different because they were part of Free Comic Book Day. It's sort of like an advertisement on the comic. But we do one for Undiscovered Country. And there's a few ways that you can do these. For most companies, you just ask.
Yeah.
You just ask and you just pay for it. That's the long and the short of it. Marvel and DC are a little bit different. They have certain requirements you have to get. And they all have minimum numbers. You can't just order 2 copies. You have to order hundreds or thousands of copies. Yeah. Marvel and DC will offer retailers specific books at specific times. Marvel does a lot of them. DC does very few comparatively, but they still do them regularly. But even then, I'm sure if I just called them and said, "Hey, I want to do a cover for this," I'm sure DC would just say, sure, like, it's just more comics that they sell, right? And again, as far as the artist goes, it's just based on availability, right? I mean, I asked when we did the Raphael Albuquerque cover, I had a few artists that I sent to Image, and I said, hey, these are the ones I'm thinking of, based on because, I wanted to get people that had been involved with previous works by Scott Snyder.
Yeah.
So, Greg Capullo was just out of the question entirely because he's just too busy.
Yeah.
Jock had already done the variant cover, so Raphael Albuquerque was on my short list, and it was perfect. He was like, basically my first choice, right? Based off the people that I knew couldn't do it, right? I think Capullo would have been an awesome get, but he's not doing anything right now. So it's kind of just you just sort of ask when we had the
Harley Quinn,
it
was randomly assigned.
No.
Oh no, they had a list.
Yeah, so we were very late to that, and a lot of the kind of quote unquote bigger names had already been picked up. But Mikhail Hanin had just been announced as going to be like the alternating ongoing artist on Batman, and I'm like, well, fuck yeah, let's get him. And man, I tell you, I look at some of those Harley variants. Mm-hmm. By far, we got one of the best ones, and he cranked that thing out in like 2 days.
Yep,
no time. I saw a lot of those Harley covers that were fucking ugly.
Oh yeah,
they were.
Yeah. They're
hideous.
They're gross.
So yeah, and I think we did really good on the Undiscovered Country cover. I really like it. It's a super cool cover. So we have copies available on the website if you want to pick them up. If you're in store, we have them here too. So
I just hope our cover doesn't end up on any GOP memes.
Build that wall. Verum Libertas says is Undiscovered Country, speaking of it, the next big Image thing or another critical hit with average sales. Well, we've kind of got some word on early sales. I had said I assumed it was based on the number of exclusive covers and the hype. It could potentially be a number one book. I don't think it's going to be, but it should. If it doesn't hit top 10, it's going to be very close. I think Scott Snyder said it would be like over 80,000 copies, which for a creator-owned book is that's
huge,
really good. I mean, Spawn 300 is kind of this once in a lifetime thing, right? So I these things always average out. Will it have the sales as sales potential of Walking Dead?
Is it going to have the longevity of Walking Dead or Invincible or some of these other books? That's the question.
Yeah, hell, even if it's 50 issues, it's
already been picked up though as potential.
Yeah. So for movies and TV, so it really depends on. I mean, our pre-orders are very, very strong, even outside the exclusive cover. Yeah. I mean, Charles Soule and Scott Snyder are both big names. So on them alone, I think it'll sell for quite some time.
Well, I think the concept leads to having a lot to play with.
Yeah, it's a very fun first issue. You barely scratch the surface. There's a lot of sort of info dumping in the first issue of trying to get you caught up on who these characters are, because it's a lot of sort of like, I don't want to say like no-name characters, but they're very much just like.
Well, you're establishing a world and you're building a world while you're giving us the characters and what's going on with them.
Yeah.
And so
Walking Dead
Saga did that really, really well.
Well, like Walking Dead and Saga are cases where they very slowly introduced characters. This gives you a lot of characters right up front. So there's a lot of info. The world and the characters, you get a lot in that first issue. But I think by the end of the first issue if this is something you're into, because you're like, here's kind of the normalness, and here's the fucking weird shit that it goes in the last couple pages, right? So, yeah, I think you should know pretty quick if it's something you're going to like. Final question from Darfox8.
From Patreon?
From Patreon. Kevin, this is from you. Or this is for you.
It's from you? It's like, you're Darfox8?
I recently finished the Mr. Miracle. And I wanted the current series, and I wanted to know what is up with Funky Flash Man.
Funky.
I guess he's a sort of Stan Lee caricature created by Jack Kirby after they fell out. How do you feel about other people writing such a personal and specific character, especially now that both Jack and Stan have passed? Dude, I love Funky Flash Man.
In that Stuff Said book, there's a whole section on Funky Flash Man.
Yeah. So, this is a character who's in the New Gods books, right? And, he's Stan Lee, right? Yeah. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. But
a very young Stan Lee.
I don't know if Kirby meant any real malice. I mean, clearly he's taking shots at him, but there's a difference between like...
It's more like roasting versus...
That's how it always came off to me. Now, I don't know. If you have more info...
No.
Yeah.
It does. It's like his roast of Kirby.
Right.
Of
Or
Stan.
Yeah.
And the dialogue is even Stanish, has the Stan-isms in it.
It's the Excelsior.
Yeah.
Well, not just that. Like the phrasing and everything is straight out of Stan's soapbox.
If I had a guy like Stan Lee watching my kid, I'd be like, that's cool.
Oh, you're talking about in the Tom King book. I'm talking about the old Mr. Miracle. Yeah, I don't remember him in the Tom King book being super Stanish, for lack of a better.
I mean, they had his. He said Excelsior. He had sort of the Stan Lee catchphrases, but it wasn't.
He's the one that said Batman kills babies.
Like the one in the Kirby Mr. Miracle is Stan, like the Stan persona that everybody knows and loves, like cranked up to 11.
Right. They like ripped out almost literal dialogue from those soapboxes to use them. Yeah. But again, it doesn't. It never came off to me that Jack Kirby was like, fuck Stan Lee, and this is me ripping on him, and I'm going to kill him in every issue sort of thing. It did feel more like the bits of art I've read of those early stuff where Funky Flashman was in it. Just sort of like, haha, I'm going to kind of goof on this. It's sort of a roast. I don't know if there was any real malice intent.
I mean, there were hurt feelings.
Sure,
you could say that for sure, but it's hard to know.
Right. Yeah.
Is he just like tweaking Stan, or is he giving him the middle finger?
Yeah. But yes, he is supposed to be Stan Lee. It's very funny, very fun character. So, and worked well in the current Tom King book too. I thought they did a good job using that character. I can't even. When the hell was the last time Funky Flashman was in anything? Like a very, very long time. We have a couple questions.
He wasn't Booster Gold's agent, was he?
No, I don't think so. A couple questions here on Twitter. I've got a few questions about the acetate covers. Stefano, Dan, a few people emailed in a message about this. DC has the first week of the the acetate covers to ship this week. It's basically like a plastic cover that goes over the main cover with some art on it. And when you take off the acetate cover, when you open it,
it reveals the
hidden
cover.
So the whole deal is you're doing this for Villains Month. It is sort of like the hidden villain behind everything, right? So all these covers, it's like the surprise is coming out, or like, oh, this character's alive, or oh, this thing's back. I love it when DC does this stuff. There's the difference between a cool one-off project or the cool one-off book and the logistics of sorting, organizing, storing, and shelving dozens, if not hundreds, of copies of these books, because they are slippery as shit.
Yep.
You can only stack I can stack 6 on my shelf.
But I'm saying like flat. You can only put 5 before they start slipping.
I did when we put them in the boxes. They were like 4x4, 4 backwards, up, down. Otherwise, if these things just fall everywhere, like they just slide into each other. So if you don't have a divider between them, like in the boxes, they would just completely get destroyed. I ended up bagging and boarding them and putting them on the shelf. Also, the cover on the acetate does not list the title of the book. It is it's like written like tiny little text up in the corner, but it says like.
But that's after you open the.
Yes, after you open it, it has the name. But on the
it?
Yeah, it's underneath. Double check, but I'm like almost sure it is.
Yeah, at least on like the Justice League, but it wasn't like in big text. It was just a tiny little.
Yeah, it says tiny little words. It says Justice League on the corner, but it says like Legion of Doom. So if you're looking at this, and it's like, well, I don't want to buy a Legion of Doom comic. I want a Justice League comic. Brock's grabbing one. So they are cool. Right, but is it under the acetate? Yes. It has the actual comic name, right?
Yeah, Batman but has under the acetate.
Under the acetate, yes. Yeah. So you can't actually see the title of the comic if it's in the top right. If it's sitting on the shelf. Yeah, so cool in theory, cool if you know what you're doing. I made signs for all our books that says like
Holy acetate cover, Batman.
Yes, holy acetate, Batman. This is actually Batman number 82 or whatever. So yeah.
It's the J. It's
So yeah, I figure I'll have some fun making these up the rest of the month. It is annoying that I have to do this, but again,
we can get 8 on the shelf now.
I can
Or is
put
it 10?
I can put 10 on the
10.
shelf if they're on a bag and board. Yeah, they're a little bulky, but it's okay. I don't like to have stuff in bags and boards, but what are you gonna do? Dan also wants to know about this past week of FOC, because a lot of retailers were not happy with this. Marvel had 2 weeks worth of books
What?
on their order this last week,
Holy crap!
as
That's
well
like-
as
how many pages did you have? 500.
it was a lot, as well as multiple issues of all the X titles that either we have just received or have not yet received. So we're ordering issues 2s and 3s for stuff we don't have a lot of sales history on. Tons of the Annihilation one-shots, multiple of the 2099 one-shots. Again, we have no sales history on. Basically, these like weekly series of just
Wait, that
one-off.
is the Annihilation stuff. The stuff with that who's the dead person? That Marvel space thing where they like there's a
Annihilation in 2099 is a 2-month weekly event, and Annihilation is a 1-month weekly event. They're both happening at the same time.
Are you talking about? It's called Incoming.
income. Is that it?
Oh no, that's just the one shot. No, Annihilation is Silver Surfer, Thanos, Nova, Guardians, that whole Annihilation.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah, yeah.
Is it the one true Nova?
Yes, it is. It is. But it's these 5 random one shots that are just like, and that's it. It's like not a thing. So I don't know what. Yeah, I ordered very low on all this stuff because I have no sales history, not a lot of orders. Yeah, multiple issues being
Did
solicited
you bump
before.
your orders for Marauders number 2?
Well, so Marauders 1 I had ordered low and did not adjust, and I just spazzed on that one. All the rest I had ordered the numbers I meant to order. And sales have been, much better than anything previously. Not anywhere near the X-Men books or House for Powers, but X-Men did well. Excalibur did good for what we ordered. Marauders we basically sold out of. With X-Force and what else?
New
is
Mutants
this
is
week?
this
New
week.
Mutants out this week. New Mutants should do well. X-Force should do well. Our pre-orders for X-Force are pretty good. Again, we're talking, 4 times what we did of the previous X-Force series, but still a far cry from, the bigger Batman, the bigger DC titles or X-Men, all right, and the Hickman stuff. But still, hey, I'll take, way more. I'll take more monthly or twice shipping monthly Marvel comics to sell 30 or 40 copies. That's totally fine. We have a lot more than we used to, but still not as much as we have had in the past.
Yeah.
But yeah. Dan says he said he went low on Annihilation and 2099.
Well, 2099 is so late. Like half of it's going to be coming out in 2020.
No, it's November and December is when
okay.
they all ship. Yep.
So it's only half of this month.
There are a bunch of one shots in the alpha and all that crap. So yeah. He says Marauders doubled up for me. So I'm not sure if something doubles up. I'm assuming that's good. But I got a lot of bad feedback on Excalibur. So especially with the second, third, fourth issues of these books, I don't go crazy. I order, I look at what I sold at number 1, and I figure we're likely to sell a little bit less than that of number 2. So,
well, you're finding the drop. What's the drop off? Is it going to be a 20% drop off? Is it going to be a 30? Is it going to be 10?
Yeah.
Is it going to be 50? Like it's a guessing game when you don't have kind of a fair amount of weeks of sales data.
Well, and the reason the companies keep relaunching stuff is because I'll kind of take a gamble on number 1, but 2 and on, I kind of know what my numbers are. But if they constantly keep launching out new number 1s, I sort of have to keep guessing, right? But if I look at Doctor Strange and there's a new Doctor Strange book, I'm not going to sell all of a sudden 40 more times when it's the same people, right?
Yeah.
Different creative team, that's a little bit different. But yeah, I'm not going to suddenly be like, oh, this Mark Waid Doctor Strange is going to sell 100 copies. The last one sold 15. Like, no.
The new Thor book's going to sell as much as the Jason Aaron one.
It'll sell probably equivalent. I don't think it's going to sell any. It's not going to sell better, but it won't sell any worse. What's his face?
Donny Cates.
Donny Cates is a big writer. I mean, it should do well.
Because it's going to be Venom Thor soon.
But yeah, I mean, Marauders, Excalibur, Fallen Angel, those are going to be the ones to get first to the chopping block because, you know, they have no name brand recognition, right? I mean, the books are fine, the characters are fine, but the odds of them selling as well as X-Men are just zero, right? I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Well, it's the Marauders. The premise for Marauders is awkward.
You really didn't like it. I thought it was okay.
I don't understand why she has to smuggle stuff that anybody with like a Costco hand truck can just wheel through the portal.
Is there some like is this a dry island or something like that?
They party all the time.
Yeah. They have those orgies. I didn't quite get what was going on with Kitty Pryde. Why are you randomly a pirate?
You're smuggling stuff in
pirates
for
are
Logan.
cool.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, but yeah.
And in the Excalibur book, I read that, and it's Magic X-Men.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
X-Men Dark.
Not even that good.
I thought Marauders was okay, but I just kind of don't
like the premise.
The premise of Marauders was, I'm going to go find every mutant that can't get to the island. It's like, well, you're the only one, Kitty Pryde. You're the only one that can't get to the island.
No, so the thing is like it's they pitched it as X-Men in the high seas, and it's more like X-Men using the sea instead of an airplane to save people that are in third world countries or like countries that are hard to get into.
Krakoa could just go like, there's your gate.
No, you have to plan it.
Yeah, but like fucking Storm can just fly over.
Well, that's the thing that's the thing is that's what you need X-Force for, right? X-Force is the one that strategically goes in to plant one of those things.
But if they're on a boat, they can't get very far.
Maybe just you have to have X-Men on a boat.
Yeah,
I don't know.
What the hell's a Quinjet?
Open a big time rift, send them back in time, and do a proper X-Men pirate story.
On a boat. Take a goddamn Quinjet. Or not Quinjet. What's it called?
Blackbird.
Blackbird. Yeah. Quinjet's the Avengers. What the hell? It's the fucking Blackbird. What the hell are you doing, Kitty Pryde?
And then you name the ship the Blackbird in the past with Pirate X-Men.
I'm sure they've already done this.
They have.
Casey asks, "Did you ever judge someone immediately based on their comic book taste?" Yes, his name is Bryce Larson, and I still judge him constantly. Joshua says, "You better talk about your Bauhaus experience." Joshua talked about it on the Geek Box last night. Not really related to any of these, but
he was an old man. He was he was tired, and he was tired the next day.
I went to a concert, and I went to a VIP concert meet and greet and everything, and that was a very cool experience. That's about the long and short of it. But we did talk about it on the Geek Box last night briefly. If you want,
you haven't really shaved.
If you want to hear some more, I shaved Sunday morning just for the concert. Sad noise. Oh, Toby's printing out a receipt. Timothy says, "Do you guys sell Drawn and Quarterly or Fantagraphics at the store? I went looking for Rusty Brown recently and only found it at my local indie bookstore, not at either of the comic stores. What's the market for those books? What's the Venn diagram of underground readers and conventional readers?" So we get some stuff from Drawn and Quarterly and Fantagraphics. Not a ton, but it sells very randomly. I mean, the diagram of people buying X-Men and people buying Fantagraphics is zero. I mean, there is two separate circles, right?
There's got to be at least one guy that's just
everyone
everything.
that buys Fantagraphic comics now bought X-Men in the 80s. That is every single one, right? So,
but they're not buying X-Men.
But they're not buying now. No, they bought X-Men in the 80s, and all superhero comics are bad, and they now buy Fantagraphics. So that's 100%. That is a perfect circle.
And their Bible is the Comics Journal.
Yes, and their Bible is, and all they read is a Comics Journal. Yeah, TCJ.
But to go to his question, Rusty Brown's sitting right next to the cash register in this store.
It is. Yep. You want to know how
Kevin? You read that, right?
Yep.
You want to know how? Did you really?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
I love Chris Ware.
Yeah. I appreciate Chris Ware. I appreciate his style and what he does. I just can't get into it. It's very technical. His art's so...
His art is simple.
Technical is the word. It's the only word that comes to me.
I wouldn't go like, oh my god, this is like reading an Adam Hughes book. But it's the sum of the whole product together.
I mean, he's a fascinating... I mean, was it Trying Buildings? Was that the last one?
Building Stories.
Building Stories
is amazing. You're going to go back to Tyler's
humongous.
question. Go back to Tyler's question about something that comics do. Building Stories, for those who haven't seen it, it's a box set.
Yeah, it's humongous.
It's got like a graphic novel inside, something that's more like a board game, some cards, like they're almost like trading cards, little strips of like somebody cut out a comic strip out of a Sunday paper.
Yeah.
And it's all of this. It tells a story of the lives of these people who live in this apartment building. You put it in whatever order you want to read it. It's not even like start at page 1. Like you could pull out, I'm going to first read the board game.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to read the graphic novel and then whatever. It's just, it's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I went the extra step and I went full indie bookstore. I printed out the Goodreads review of it and put it next to it because people kept picking up and going, what the hell is this? Right? Yeah.
How's that lettering?
Oh, my God.
Can you even read it? You have to get a magnifying glass?
I posted a review on Amazon for Rusty Brown.
Okay, yeah.
With a photo of my thumb next to one of the panels, and my thumbnail is literally larger than the lettered panel.
Oh, it's fucking tiny.
So there's a section of... Yes, I read Rusty Brown, Brock, but there are sections of Rusty Brown I did not read because literally I have to buy a magnifying glass or sit there with my phone and take photos and zoom in. It's just not worth the effort.
So you're saying buy it digitally?
It's not available.
Yeah.
Oh,
none of his stuff's available digitally, right?
And of all the things that should be.
Yeah.
Take a while to read it, though.
Yeah, so, our sales on this stuff aren't great. I think it's important to carry because some person will randomly walk in and be like, oh, you have this. Awesome. But sales are not great. I mean, that's just they're never going to be our top sellers. Occasionally, like we've done really well with the George Sakai, the book that just came out. I'm just sitting right there. I'm just blanking on the name of it.
The Internment Camp.
Yeah. And so specifically, and I think in this area as well.
No, we don't have that no more.
Is it not there?
Well, I know that we have the Handmaid's Tale.
I've been trying to get some more of that stuff. And that George Sakai book is going to be one of our top sellers of the year. It's done really, really well for us. But it's certain stores are going to have more of a market for it. Our market for that is small, but I do try to carry at least
you
some of
carry
it.
what you think is this store's going to sell, not just carrying it.
Ordered Acme Novelty Library here and there. It's just a tough book to shelf, and I can't just sell it. It's not going to be on a recommended. It's just because it's so odd. It's just really it's a weird own thing. Let's see. Did
you guys hear about the Chrome extension that changes Trump to Florida Man?
I saw that. Yeah, the one from the Daily Show. That's pretty funny. X-Force #1. Charlie, did you get a chance to read that yet?
Yeah.
You did read that earlier today, right?
Yeah, I did.
Tim's Corner Comics wants to know, did you have a chance to read X-Force 1 yet?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think?
Didn't we just fucking establish?
I asked his question, and now Charlie will answer. Because you're the X-Force fan.
It had a very good sort of cliffhanger that, unfortunately, because of some of the stuff that's happened in that book, isn't as necessarily impactful as it should be.
Yeah.
I liked what they did with Domino in it, but too much of it still kind of took place on Krakoa. I prefer X-Force out there doing missions and not at home base. So I'm curious. It has no cable, no young or old cable.
So it's not X-Force.
It's fine.
It has to have cable.
So my traditional X-Force, I agree with you, but I have read some very good X-Force runs without cable in it before. Okay. So, yeah. No, I mean, it's kind of a weird dynamic because X-Force needs to be mercenary. They need to be going out and doing missions.
They're like the Black Ops of the X-Men.
And this definitely has some of that feeling to it, but it also doesn't necessarily... I don't feel like issue 1 was a good example of what the series is going to be.
Well, that's kind of the point of an issue #1. So
I know, and that's sort of the...
Well, I think Charlie's... I think you have something with that. All of the #1s so far from X-Men, Marauders, Excalibur, they've all kind of had this... Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's like...
Marauders, I think, had a solid pitch.
So
whether you like it or not, that's another thing.
X-Force #1 was a bunch of individual characters doing different things. Like, no X-Force team has been brought together or exists in that book currently. Now, you can see, based on the events, why that team will form coming out of it.
Yeah.
But as I said, you don't really get a sense of what that book's going to be yet because you can tell this is the formation story.
Yeah.
Which now takes 6 issues or however many issues the first arc will take, where it used to take 1 issue.
Next question.
Got one last question. we got multiple questions here about one from M, one from King. Well, this is a very long name. What is your name here? No, that's me. What's your name? Max Havoc. Let's go with that one. About 5G. We've kind of held off. We've discussed this a little bit here and there. They did post on DC's new DC Nation Twitter account the first calendar. Kind of, the first sort of timeline of some DC's new kind of altered timeline. This is all going back to a rumored sort of retcon. Toby, if you want to talk about it, this is your time. It kind of a cleaned up timeline. I don't know. It was just weird cackle from the back. DC's kind of cleaned up timeline of when characters first appeared and what's going on. Now, there was some oddities here because clearly in this timeline they show on the Twitter page, it's like superheroes enter World War II and Bruce Wayne is born. I don't think Bruce Wayne's that old. He's
got the hood on for this one. He's Mr. Roboting it.
I think there's 2 possibilities. Now, you were at the panel at New York Comic Con, but they didn't really get into it.
Nope.
Right.
But the way I understood it was exactly how everybody else was talking about it, and you were like, no, you got it all wrong, and everybody's wrong, and it's all bullshit, I'm not going to talk about it for, like, a month.
Well, no, because we now have... Because, what Dan showed at New York Comic Con was not the thing that they've showed on Twitter. DC has now officially showed final versions of that timeline. It does not match up to that original timeline. What I had heard was that...
I don't see how anybody could read whatever the fuck was on that timeline.
Well, you can't, right? Because it was not a finalized version. So... The Bleeding Cool is out there going, DC is going to reboot again. Here's this new crazy timeline thing, blah, blah, blah.
Again, that's not at all what Dan said at the panel.
Correct. That's what Bleeding Cool said,
so
because they're fucking trash.
About it for a month? You will not even allow me to talk about it.
I was not saying you couldn't talk about what they said at the panel. I said I don't want to talk about the rumors, because the rumors are bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know where these rumors are starting from. You hang out on the internet too much, my friend.
That's why I didn't want to talk about it.
Fucking Twitter, man.
Yeah, the only headline I saw from Bleeding Cool was something about 5G and Black Label's going to save it.
Yeah, whatever.
And I'm like, whatever. Whatever.
No. So
all Dan put up was, look, we understand people like a history. Therefore, we actually got together and built the history of the DC universe.
Yep.
And he said that there's certain stories like this is this where this happened, and you guys haven't read the story yet. That's a hint, meaning they're going to build stories in different timelines too.
Okay.
And he basically go like, this is where the GSA is, this is where the JLA is,
right.
This is, and all the way up to like where we are now.
Yeah.
So it's basically in a weird way not retconning, but kind of just establishing what is canon, what isn't, what we're going to use, and
it's building on that metaverse.
Well, he didn't say that either.
No?
But well, look, I'm just saying he put up some slides. You could barely make out what it is. He talked about some of it briefly.
Yeah.
And he said, this is our established timeline that we're going to build, and we went backwards to go like, this is in, this is out, and this is what we're going to do. That's all it was.
Yeah. From this official timeline, the first shot of this official timeline is shown on DC. I have two thoughts of where they could be going with this. One is exactly what Brock said, the metaverse, right? The whole idea here is that, yes, that Batman does become, well, he would be born like turn of the century, I guess, if you put him in 1939 or whatever, right? But roughly the Batman, well, no, because Earth 1 Batman wouldn't be born until the 40s if he's in the JSA or JLA, right? Because he wouldn't be in the JSA. So that Silver Age idea, right? The Silver Age Justice League, the Earth 1 Justice League, the JSA is in the 30s. Even Wonder Woman being there, if they're going to have Wonder Woman be that old, or if they're going to
he did
bring in
say,
the John Byrne.
He did say Wonder Woman will be the first superhero ever in their
Right.
established new timeline.
Right. Because they did that with the John Byrne Wonder Woman stuff, where it was Hippolyta had been the original Wonder Woman. All right. So you could. I think there's two ways to look at this. One, they're going to use the metaverse concept to sort of put stuff in order, but condense the timeline. Or two, this could be a sort of real-time, ultimate universe story thing they want to work on. Clearly, they're cleaning up their own time. But you can't have a Bruce Wayne that's born in 1940, 1945.
He didn't say that everything that we read is in. They pick and choose.
Right, but the official, the official DC page has the official first part of that timeline, and it has Bruce Wayne being born when World War II is going on. So that either makes World War II have been fairly recent.
There's a thing called jumping time, my friend. It's comic books.
Right, and there's no dates. It's just year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, right? So I would love sort of like an Ultimate DC series of books where they have characters age kind of naturally and like the generations.
I honestly also don't mind it that they're establishing. I mean, I've kind of done that.
Not by John Byrne.
No, I mean, I kind of.
Hey, those Generations books are good.
They were fun, but I don't need John Byrne.
Look, I kind of
not now.
No.
I kind of do this unofficially already on my bookshelf. I'm like, this is where my history starts, and these are where some of these characters are, and I have it in order that makes sense to me. And some of it they retcon, some of it went away, but I still have it like this is what happens, and this happens, and this happens, and because of this happens, and because of that happens, right? So I kind of enjoy that they're maybe solidifying it, making it legit, where, say, someone new comes in that watched one of the movies going, hey, I really like to know more about this, and we can, go, look, if you only want to know about this area, you go here, but if you want to start from all of it, you start here. If you want to know about this, you start here. Well, I think that's actually kind of neat.
Well, DC's they've had to do this after, every crisis, right? I mean, we have Kevin's famous History of the DC Universe book here that has all the...
that timeline is now apparently completely invalidated.
Yeah. So they update this stuff regularly, right? Marvel kind of...
But I wouldn't mind if they even include that stuff. Up to this point, it's up to this crisis, and then after that, we got this.
They're all going to be. I mean, everything has happened, especially now. Metaverse coming out of Doomsday Clock. Everything ever has happened, and they all count. Which
the metaverse adds. The metaverse adds not only just another layer. The layer it adds to the Elseworlds and multiverse stuff is also else times or multi times. So it's like Toby said, they could build this timeline out with these types of stories, and then switch to a different lineup of it, because they bring that up in Doomsday Clock, where Superman it happens here and things go this way, but then Superman happens here and things go another way.
Yeah, I think there's a reason we're going to see the end of Doomsday Clock, Snyder's end of Justice League, the start of whatever the big event is, this timeline. I mean, they've been. I mean, every book is telling us there's a crisis coming. There's a crisis coming. So we're getting another crisis. This is all part of that.
Stephen Amell's been telling me about the crisis too.
There's also that crisis.
Yeah, a lot.
We have a lot of crises coming to DC
God, remember
Universe,
we're gonna have post TV crisis.
Yeah.
It still doesn't change that you were a jerk.
Well,
I was trying to talk about it online, and he was like, DC hasn't said anything. I'm like, motherfucker, Dan Didio is DC.
But they really didn't say. They still haven't said anything, right? They've sort of let this image.
I think them being at a panel and going, look at our fucking slides, constitute as them saying something.
They were very vaguely saying we're looking two different realities.
Unless they show it personally to Ryan, Ryan won't acknowledge it.
It didn't exist.
Look at this doodle
I imagined
King
it.
did on our storyboard.
Okay, so what is it? So what's the timeline? What's the book? What's the whole layout?
No, there's not one book. It's all the books.
Okay.
Are you fucking stupid? What do you mean, okay?
Come on, we're just going to get the history of the DC Universe, multi-book series again.
No, it's not even that. No, it's the actual books that he's putting in a timeline. Is the way I understood it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, again, they've done this 5 or 6 times now, where after every crisis, they sort of have to, clean up the timeline a little bit.
So what's the big fucking deal?
The big deal is the thing I did not want to talk about was they're going to reboot the entire DC universe.
No, they're
again.
not. Nobody said that.
Yes, they did.
No, they didn't.
All these fucking rumor sites have said this.
Who is they? Who is they?
Bleeding Cool, the B.
Not DC, motherfucker.
And that's why I did not want to talk about it.
All right.
See, I just can't wait till the Trade Department announces they're going to put all these books back into print, coming out chronologically.
Dan
to the new
Didio did not
timeline.
announce. Dan Didio did not announce books. He did not announce an updated timeline.
He hinted at certain limited books.
He did not announce an event. Right.
He hinted at specific. He basically talked about timelines. Going, you guys haven't read this yet. Wink. You haven't read this yet. But wink.
Nothing
right?
has been announced.
I didn't say anything got announced.
Piece of info we have is this one image from the DC site, and that's all we have to go on. So, but yes, no, I read. I know what happened at the panel. I read the stuff too. And again, he was like,
You read about it. I was fucking there. We're disagreeing somehow.
We're working on stuff. We're coming up with this timeline. Well, it's meaningless. The timeline is meaningless if it's not a reason to, if we don't know what it's going to do.
This distinctly sounds like something. Remember when Grant Morrison was working on the multiverse stuff?
You just call your fucking
before.
friends at DC that talk to you and get a straight answer.
I'm sure we'll know in a few months when
you call
Crisis
your friends.
2020 happens.
You call your friends. That's more fun. Have them give you a straight answer.
All right, and I'll come right back and tell everyone what they told me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crisis
So they're just
2020.
going to have to be Infinite Earths in Crisis.
I'm ready.
Don't make sure it's deluxe.
I'm ready for it.
No, you're not.
All right.
You don't. Even know, you don't even know
Forgetting
it's
all
coming.
the miniseries to go with that.
Yeah.
It's not Marvel. That is.
All the year on the villain stuff
What about it?
They're one shots.
is not like included in some stuff they're doing
Year of the
together.
Villain?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm 100% convinced that the team of characters that are being introduced in the Tales of the Dark Multiverse, that those are going to be some of the characters coming over in the big event.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Did you read the lowest one?
No.
That was very good.
Oh,
the Death of
jeez.
Superman one? Yeah, no. Yeah, but after I read the Dark Knight,
The Nightfall one?
I was like, yeah, they're bringing these characters over.
So I know you're about to wrap up, but I
Yeah.
just want to hit you with this one question.
Yeah, of course.
Hit him
about
with some
5G.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Do you see a version of DC's publishing plan that establishes the, not a alternate version, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, the Bruce Wayne born in World War II? Like that they've set that down in stone.
Well, not if World War II took place in the 1940s, right?
That's what I mean.
1930s and 40s.
I'm using World War II as we understand it to exist.
Yeah. Right. That's the question about this timeline thing is cool if this is some like real-time Generations style book or Ultimate DC Universe or Metaverse or we're going to put the DC Universe into the 1960s for some reason. Yes, but current comics, Batman could not be born in 1945. He'd be or 1940 or whatever. He
could be.
80
But
years
yeah,
old.
but I would
He could be
assume
if
that
he kept cloning himself.
Yeah. What if it got like a fucking like a little private pool that he jumps in with his buddy Ross and go, "What's up,
Well,
dude?
Superman
Have a
also
fucking drink. Let me kill my wounds."
Let me.
But my assumption would be if they establish he was born then, Bruce Wayne would not be Batman in the current run of the title anymore.
Right.
Unless they have somewhere else in the timeline where he travels in time for some
Well,
reason.
that was this rumor that all the sidekicks were going to take over as the main heroes, right? Now, if Batman suddenly ages naturally due to some weirdness at the end of Doomsday Clock and he's 80 years old, right?
Steve Rogers.
Yeah. Super Soldier.
But this is a story. This is not a permanent change to the comics. I mean, I said this. I said, sure, if they have Luke Fox take over as Batman for 6 months while Batman and Catwoman are off on their honeymoon, yeah, that's fine, right? But you're out of your mind if you think any of these characters will be gone long term, right? And there's never a chance for that'll ever happen. So, whether it's this, whether it's some major continuity, whether it's Metaverse, whether it's Crisis, whatever the case be. It would be a fun story, but it would be a story. It wouldn't be a permanent change, just because they would never do that. Let me actually pull up that DC Nation image here, so I can show you I can read the official thing they listed on here. Let's see. So year one, G1 year one, by the way, right? Yeah. So if we're at G5, right? That's like,
is that Gangster one?
Krypton explodes, the Rocket crashes in Smallville, Wonder Woman debuts, and Steve Trevor crashes on Themyscira. So that all happens the same year. Year 2, Jay Garrick debuts as The Flash. Year 3, Jay joins the JSA, and Wonder Woman joins the JSA. Year 5, the JSA enters World War II. Year 6, Thomas and Martha Wayne marry, Bruce Wayne is born, and Priscilla Rich becomes Cheetah. In year 8, Wonder Woman retreats to Themyscira following the atomic bomb drop. And that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is Diana Lance born. That's either year 12 or G2 year 1 because the screen is cut off, so I don't know. This is Donna. Well, this is Generation 1, Dawn of the Superhero, 25-year time period, so I'm assuming this is. I mean, I'm kind of. I can't for sure say that's what it says, but that's what it appears to say. This is like a kind of retcon of all the Golden Age stuff. But you can't have Bruce Wayne be 80 years old unless, again, Metaverse can have it happen. Time Trapper could come down and be like, cool, I fucked with time again. Oh, everything's aging in real time now. We've broken the DC universe again.
We're gonna have a hidden crisis.
Which, I mean,
hidden crisis.
This could be a crisis that never happened.
These could be
that we didn't know about.
Yeah, sure.
Like the Doctor.
Yeah, these are cool. The potential for really cool stories here, but at the end,
we're going to have a war crisis.
Batman, and there will be 5 Robins, and Clark Kent will be Superman, and he'll be married to Lois.
So, I mean, if we're doing...
See, now I'm just picturing they're just going to do a bunch of one-shots with just crisis in the name, so it will be like, War Crisis, this crisis. They're just going to get all the crisis names out of the way in 1 month.
Yes.
Crisis on Crisis.
The Superior Crisis.
All new, all different Crisis.
Uncanny Crisis.
Crisis the movie.
Crisis the Flamethrower.
Crisis of the Dark Multiverse.
Crisis Seas.
We have to thank all of our Patreon backers.
No, we don't. We can keep going.
No, we have to thank all our Patreon backers for a wonderful month of supporting us on Patreon. Thank everyone on here. Joe Duff, Sam Che, thank you for your continued support. Andrew Nelson Mendez over at Recovery of an Anime Junkie podcast. Craig Anderson over at CraigPAnderson.com. Craig, I hope your drive is doing well. Jimmy Rivera is at the Social Forum podcast. That's FOURUM. And James Laws. Thank you guys all very much for your continued support. And of course, at the beginning of the month, we have to thank all our high-tier backers.
Oh, you love this one.
I'm borderline have a cold, and my throat's a little thrown
Don't make
out
excuses.
from
You're just horrible at saying
screaming
names.
like a girl at the Bauhaus concert on Sunday night. So I'm going to go through this as quickly as possible. Let's hope I make it all. That's Dennis Jansen, Alex McHale, David Baroldi, Don Kilson, Mark Long, Stephen Septia, Ivan Liskanik, Brian Morosky, Miles Gakula, Zach Johnson, Bryce Larson quotes. Look out for next week. Paula Schultz, Joseph Rodriguez, Jack Ildefonso, Christopher Noyes, David Sfar, Verum Libertas, Brian Wyckoff, Joe Katchdorian over at Identity Stunt, PJ Ryder, Josh Elliott, Joe Frazier, Tyler Willits, Rob Ben Dixon, Travis Fleischman, Tim Martin, Ames Foster, Mason Barber, Anirban Banerjee, Litwin Studios, new backer, Litwin Studios, hello. Robert Lane, Andrew Nikovich, Brendan McGowan, Tim from Virginia Beach, hello Tim, Chris Lockhart, Aaron Wright, Father Dante, Christopher Haith, Chris Palaki, This Man, this Pete. Julian Titus, I wish I was Bryce Larson.
Oh, we got a new one?
No, he mentioned this earlier. He asked a question. Wally Ansari, List of the Living Dead, Chris Bunch, Malvi, Edgar Moreno, and, of course, Andrew Cuscieri. Thank you guys all very much for your continued support. Patreon.com/Comic Conspiracy. For as little as $1 a month, you can kick in a few bucks. Well, for $1 a month, you can support this podcast.
For as little as $1 a month, you help support this podcast.
For $5 a month,
it's even better.
I will horribly read your name once a month at the start of this podcast, start of the month at the end of the podcast, thanking you for your continued support. If this is something you would like to hear, go to patreon.com/Comic Conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
You can go over to comicconspiracypodcast.com, geekbox.net, and Apple Podcasts to find all our previous episodes. Always rate and review. It helps. You can go to youtube.com/comics-conspiracy. Yeah. The Comic Conspiracy at geekbox.net for those long-form questions if you got one. Of course, our web store is comicsconspiracy.biz. That's the store. And we have the Undiscovered Country cover and Virgin cover available right now. Available for purchase on there. There's a link right on the very front of the page when you log in. You should see that. It's the one by Raphael Albuquerque. Fantastic first issue.
You can either get the R exclusive, R exclusive Virgin, or the set.
We got a 2-pack set. You can grab both of those. We also have plenty of copies of the main book as well as the Jock variant. So those are both available on our store as well if you want to go for the combo of all 4. They're all there. ConspiratorBrock.com. That's Brock's blog, video pull list, and unboxing videos. You can go check out his stuff there. Charlie has Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast. That is his Doctor Who podcast. And LeanneHill.com. That is my wife, Leanne's website. And she has an Etsy store linked on there where you can go purchase stuff from her Etsy store. And we do have all her prints here available at the store as well.
Are they in the system?
Yeah, most of them.
Can you order them online?
Some of them we have on our website. I've been slowly adding them. I have a bunch I still need to put in. But a bunch of them are on there as well. Ryan Higgins, that is myself. I'm on Twitter. If you want to follow us, you can go on there. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. Kevin is That Kevin Sharp. And, of course, the store is Comics Con Store. Please follow us all. And if you would like to listen to me, I'm on the Geek Box. That is every Monday night we record. It goes up Tuesday mornings usually. And, of course, our good friends over at Manga Machinations. Go check those guys out as well. I've been on there a few times as well. Thank you guys all very much for listening to this episode. And I'm sure we'll have a nice Bryce-filled episode next week. He's going to be in town. So it should be a fun one.
Are you ready for a long one?
We're apparently going out and getting food and drinks afterwards, too. So I'm ready for a very long one.
Okay. Then I got to... All right. Okay.
So that's that. We will see you guys next week.